Welcome to Hollywood Information. In this video, we're going to take a wild ride back to the 1980s, a decade known for its big hair, neon colors, and outrageous comedy films. Today, we'll be exploring 10 raunchy 80s comedies that would never be made today. Movies that push the boundaries of taste, humor, and sometimes decency. 1. Porky's, 1981. No list of raunchy 80s comedies would be complete without Porky's, the notorious teen sex comedy that became an instant cult classic. Set in a 1950s Florida high school, the movie follows a group of horny teens try to lose their virginity while avoiding the wrath of the school authorities. What made Porky's controversial, and ultimately a product of its time, was its unapologetic use of sexual humor, including scenes involving voyeurism and highly objectified depictions of women. Today, the movie would likely face massive backlash for its content, but back in the 80s, audiences found it hilarious. Fun fact: despite its critical panning, Porky's was a box office hit, spawning multiple sequels. Its success cemented the teen sex comedy as a staple of the decade. 2. Revenge of the Nerds, 1984. Next up is Revenge of the Nerds, a movie that celebrated the underdogs of college life, but also included humor that wouldn't fly in modern Hollywood. The story revolves around socially awkward college students who take on the popular jocks in a battle of wits, pranks, and, yes, sexual escapades. While the film promotes nerd empowerment, many of its jokes, especially those involving non-consensual sexual situations and gender stereotypes, are now considered completely unacceptable. Today, filmmakers would need to rethink the material to avoid perpetuating harmful tropes. Still, the film remains a nostalgic icon for its clever pranks, memorable catchphrases, and a message that brains can triumph over brawn. 3. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982. Released in the early 80s, Fast Times at Ridgemont High is widely regarded as one of the most iconic teen comedies ever made. It follows a group of California high school students navigating the complexities of sex, drugs, and growing up, starring Sean Penn in a breakout role. The film tackled issues like teenage pregnancy and workplace harassment, but often through a lens that was considered edgy humor for the time. Many scenes, including the infamous classroom sequences, would face serious scrutiny today for their treatment of sexual content and gender representation. Despite the controversy, Fast Times at Ridgemont High is beloved for its authentic portrayal of teenage life and its influence on the teen comedy genre. 4. Bachelor Party, 1984. Next, we have Bachelor Party, a wild comedy starring Tom Hanks before he became a Hollywood A-lister. The film follows a man's raucous bachelor party, complete with strippers, alcohol-fueled shenanigans, and raunchy humor. The storyline revolves around male bonding and sexual escapades, and many of the jokes rely on objectifying women or portraying hypersexualized scenarios. Today, such a film would face heavy criticism for its portrayal of women and gender dynamics. Still, the energy, physical comedy, and outrageous situations make it a classic example of 80s raunchy humor done at full throttle. 5. National Lampoon's Vacation, 1983. You might know National Lampoon's Vacation as a family road trip comedy, but its humor is raunchier than many remember. The Griswold family's adventures across America feature numerous risque jokes, sexual innuendos, and absurdly inappropriate scenarios, including encounters with nudists and unsavory characters. While today's comedies often prioritize subtlety or politically correct humor, this film thrived on shock value and unapologetic silliness. Chevy Chase's iconic portrayal of Clark Griswold made the character a symbol of the 80s comedic style, irreverent, over the top, and willing to cross the line for a laugh. 6. The Toxic Avenger, 1984. Shifting gears into the world of cult classics, The Toxic Avenger is a bizarre blend of horror and raunchy comedy from Troma Entertainment. The story follows a nerdy janitor who becomes a mutant superhero after falling in a toxic waste, a setup ripe for gross-out humor and outrageous antics. What makes this film unfilmable today in mainstream Hollywood is its extreme violence, sexual humor, and politically incorrect content. Scenes that involve sexualized violence or grotesque comedy would be outright rejected by modern studios. Yet its shock factor and campy charm earned it a dedicated cult following, making it a symbol of 80s indie raunchiness. 7. Police Academy, 1984. Police Academy is another classic 80s comedy that pushed boundaries with its crude humor. The film revolves around a group of misfit police recruits navigating training, assignments, and romantic entanglements. What made it raunchy? Plenty of sexual jokes, slapstick mishaps, and politically incorrect stereotypes abound, from the bumbling male recruits to the hypersexualized female officers. While the franchise spawned multiple sequels, much of its humor would not be acceptable today, given modern sensitivities to sexism, gender representation, and workplace conduct. Despite that, Police Academy succeeded in creating a memorable ensemble cast, unforgettable gags, and an enduring pop culture presence. 8. Weird Science, 1985. Rounding out our list is Weird Science, a teen comedy about two high school boys who create the perfect woman using a computer. The premise itself is shocking by today's standards, involving technology, wish fulfillment, and exaggerated sexual fantasy. The film mixes sexual humor, absurd scenarios, and sci-fi fantasy in a way that would be considered deeply problematic today. Creating a perfect woman for the pleasure of teenage boys touches on themes of objectification and consent, which modern audiences would likely reject. Nevertheless, Weird Science is remembered fondly for its inventive plot, over-the-top 80s aesthetic, and unique brand of comedy that defined the decade. 9. Porky's 2. The Next Day, 1983. The original Porky's was already controversial, but its sequel took raunchiness to new heights. Porky's 2. The Next Day revisits the teenage characters with even more outrageous sexual humor, nudity, and absurd scenarios. Modern audiences would likely find the film's treatment of women, sexual harassment, and objectification impossible to reconcile with today's standards. However, in the 80s, this film catered to a specific market: young audiences looking for rebellious, boundary-pushing humor. Though often panned by critics, the film maintained a devoted fan base and remains a snapshot of an era when raunchy comedy was king. 10. Bachelor Party 2. The Last Temptation, 1984. While the original Bachelor Party made waves, its sequel tried to push the envelope even further. Known for over-the-top humor and risque scenarios, the film focused on male fantasies, excessive partying, and sexual innuendo at nearly every turn. If you try to make this film today, the jokes would likely be considered outdated, offensive, or misogynistic. Modern audiences demand smarter, more balanced humor, which makes the unabashed raunch of this sequel almost impossible to replicate in 2026. And there you have it, 10 raunchy 80s comedies that would never be made today. These films capture a very specific moment in Hollywood history, a time when humor was bold, outrageous, and often politically incorrect. While some of the jokes haven't aged well, these movies offer a glimpse into the creative risks and societal norms of the 1980s. They remind us that comedy evolves over time, and what was once considered hilarious can become controversial or unacceptable in new era. Yet the influence of these films can still be seen in modern teen and raunchy comedies, proving that the 80s left an indelible mark on Hollywood humor. If you enjoyed this deep dive into outrageous 80s comedy, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with friends who love Hollywood history. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more fascinating insights into movies, stars, and the outrageous stories that shaped Hollywood.